everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lifting. Today's episode is being recorded on 8/21/25. I'm dealing with Cheryl here of Haven of Ascension today. This is actually going to be a very interesting episode. But before we get to any of the conversation here, I now open the circle to true benevolence with no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So, Joanna?
We are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, that only the highest good be done. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones to let healing energies in. Let them love you, let them nourish you, and let them bring you to your highest good. We ask for benevolence now to come in with no conflicting agenda so that we can have this conversation in great understanding. And we would like any malevolent or mischievous type beings to be swept away so that we may have this conversation in peace. And with that, and with great blessings that we always send your way, we say, so be it.
And so be it. All right. So Cheryl, I know you've never been on our show before now. So could you tell our audience a little bit about Haven of Ascension and the property that you're sitting on right now?
Absolutely. Well, it's lovely to be introduced to y'all. I did get up some of your information in your website. I watched some of your recent communication hygiene, so I like that one very much. But yes, Haven of Ascension. I am just following where I need to go in life. I started thinking about this place, probably many lifetimes ago, but in this lifetime, probably when I was about 16, and I just made 45. And I knew as a child, just observing everything around me, seen and unseen, that, humanity was dealing with a loss of something within themselves, a loss of decency with one another, and how people were treating each other. And my background with my mom was a guidance counselor at high school. So she put the emphasis on like understanding your mental awareness and what that means. Then you deal with other factors layered on top of that of outside influences, internal conflicts that people have. And I wanted to build a space that people could come and just find some type of like ease. So the grounds are built very beautifully, meaning that I want you to come in and see nature at its greatest. Living, in South Louisiana, we're a very fertile place. We're surrounded by water. The significance of what water signifies. And, we have the corridor of the mighty Mississippi that just runs not far from us. And the space, I never knew this space was actually here growing up. Passed by this road a million times, but it wasn't in my awareness yet. Then when I actively started looking for property to build this space, within about a week, here it is. There, found it, and it manifested pretty quickly. So the intention of it is as simple as it can be. People are welcome to come. However they need to embark on their journey is not up to me. It's not up to the space. It's up to, their own essence of who they are, their own, creator of everything. And that's where we leave it at. But we have an overwhelming sense when people visit, and we've had people from all over the world come, just as, we're speaking to you today from, another state. We want to keep it simple here, and whatever rabbit holes people want to go on, we'll be right there with you. We can talk about anything. Like you started with the first entry of, we want as pure, clean, uplifting information as possible. Being someone that's been aware of the spiritual essence that we all come from as a child. I've gone down all types of rabbit holes. I've experienced things in my life that most people probably have, but they don't quite ever talk about it. Whereas I'm the type of person, I would rather talk about it, but people's comfort levels are different. So kind of summed it up.
Yeah, we're that way too. We're at a stage where, I try to find the words to even speak to somebody who's not aware of something, and to me it's extremely difficult. To her, she tends to be more of the bridge builder. I tend to be more of the bulldozer, so it's like,
Right.
so I just tend to just speak it, and whoever is uncomfortable, it just wasn't meant for them at that point. So
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
kind of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a firm believer that uncomfortableness or tension or trauma or more on the because we're in the polarity, the duality of things, and people's degree are different. And when somebody's residing more in a hurt stage, it's hard sometimes to help them, and I'm a firm believer that you have to help yourself first, and then you have to be able to ask for that help to supplement it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we tell people the same thing. People always giving too much of themselves, and I always say, you have to fix this before you can fix what's outside of you.
Correct. Right.
So when you guys were there at the conference with us, you had a table at the conference with us, and actually, you were kind of trying to bring awareness to your facility, and came up to us, and then Chris looked at the facility, remote viewed it, and realized, oh my goodness, well, this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Again, down in that area, there's a huge contingent again of the forest people who know us know we love the forest people. And then we were inspired, Chris was inspired to gift you a forest person bus so that, you would have it for there. But Chris also thought, again, we've been to a few places where we have been, where the land is actually very kind of special, has certain energies, certain portals, certain things that are going on in remote viewing. He saw that of your facility and where, so probably, again, I think you're right. You weren't able to see the essence of it until you had reached a certain place of evolution that then it resonated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
felt it, and you felt you wanted to make it available for people for the right reasons, a high vibrational area, space, things like that. But I am curious just on the practicality, because looking behind you, very lush living space area behind you for a lot of people who could sit and talk and chat. But I am just curious about the facility itself. If somebody wanted to have like a conference or get together, what actually do you guys offer?
Right. So the venue space was built like in '92, and it was primarily for weddings, or conferences or corporate events. We've updated some things, and comfortably we like about 50 people. We want to keep it relatively intimate. I've been to many conferences around many topics, and big gatherings, obviously, it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of people, different platforms doing things. But I like the fact of a little bit smaller groups, 50 and below. We do offer like private events. We have a lot of workshops, retreats that people come in and they want to just book it for a 3-day private event, whether that's from 10 people up to 30 people. It's gated and it's completely gridded, completely around. Sits on about 17 acres. So there's a lot of space in the back. We have a natural swamp basin on the left side, and then we have like a servitude bayou that runs along this side, and the back is completely wooded in, and then a wrought iron gate in the front. So the security of the place is pretty foundationally like set. You know, that we have people that come in, hey, we're shutting the gate down. You can have whatever healthy foods you want catered for the weekend. Do what you need to do. Yoga retreats, mindfulness workshops. We try to. I mean, I'm a kind of go all the way type of person, but our area doesn't really offer a whole lot. I mean, when we talk in practicality here of just stress management and mindfulness, delving deep into the spiritual nature of things, it's a little bit more cautious around just our surrounding neighbors. But so but we're fully invested in like our chamber and our economy, and we just have to take baby steps. True. Whereas we go to the disclosure conference, and that's like, hey, like pull it all back, like let's show it up, let's show everybody.
Exactly.
We're able to bridge both realities in a sense.
Right. So my curiosity is, because again, just to let everybody know, because we would like to promote, we're trying to promote your facility because we know the energetics that are there. We would love to see a Sasquatch conference happen there. Absolutely. Hope to be a part of it, hope to be able to facilitate it when the time is right. We would love it. What I'm curious about, because I don't know anything really about it, is what about if you're having a few days event? Where do people stay? Do they stay in your facility, or do they have to get a hotel somewhere? Just those practicality things.
So we do have some bedrooms upstairs, but it's really for whoever's conducting the event. They can come in, whoever the facilitators that want to add, whatever modalities of training or healing. So we can accommodate, several people here. But if it's more than 10, we do have arrangements with local, bed and breakfasts or hotels that we do group discounts with them.
Okay, great. I mean, good. It's just glad to know. I'm just trying to paint a picture, really. And then do you have, you said individual kind of areas for workshops. Does that mean you have a main room and then other smaller rooms to be able to do things in? What does that look like?
Yeah, so when you walk through the front, we do have a little cafe. It's called the Chakra Way Cafe. It's rooted in the bayou. So we have little snacks and teas and coffees. So we do little art therapy classes in there every week. So that group books that room every week, and it's about 15 people. And then our main hall here, we can comfortably, couches, comfortable chairs, sit about 50 people. And I intentionally did it like this because, if a person's in a relaxed state, they're able to absorb and maintain, whatever they're receiving. It just flows better. Anything that has restriction or discomfort kind of more repels things. Then we have our open space in the back, which it's completely open. And again, we can fit about 50 people out there. And it's more set with like there's tables and benches. So like eating is more outside. And then all the way in the back, we have a lot of planter boxes. We have butterfly gardens. We have swings all over the property. We have a little cottage we built in the back. It's actually the Choctaw Cottage, I have some Native American ancestry, so I like to give reference to that. And that's actually so we've had about 5 people that have come through that have actually said about, hey, you have, Sasquatch that visit here, and we've seen them and we've gotten messages. So So it's no surprise. It's been, like I said, about 5 people that have, told me that as they come through.
Well,
And then
that's
actually, my children, the week that the conference was going on, that's all they talked about that week. It was like, whoa, okay. And I didn't even know that it happened yet. So it was interesting how it all, came into fruition.
right, exactly. So I think, I don't know, how are you feeling about the channeling
Oh
aspect
yeah.
tonight?
Oh yeah. This is interesting because there's an episode of the World of Sasquatch that we have not aired yet. Well, by the time people see this, of course, it's going to be up. But I labeled the episode "Pigskin's Haven" because that's the name of
Oh,
the first person that's using that bust.
okay.
And
Okay.
he's the basically was it the brother or cousin of the other two?
The cousin.
Cousin of, yeah, I believe
Oh,
one
yeah.
hamstring and
Hamstrings.
hambone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There were two that we did recordings on with hamstring and hambone. And people are curious as to why they have these names. They earn them sometimes similarly to the way Native Americans did by like a deed and like certain nicknames. And Hambone said and Hamstring said it was because they stole some farmer's pigs somewhere, and that was those two nicknames. And Pigskin, obviously, it was the same thing. So it was. This is how the swamp type ones are. They travel the swamps like they're a road, and essentially, if you know, they always say if you know where to navigate, it takes you all. The waterways take you all over the country. So.
Yes.
And
Yes.
especially in the South, they're all completely intricately connected like that. So, and also the Mississippi, then you go straight up north. But I thought that was interesting. We did this before we went to the conference. No, it was just after the conference. We actually recorded a show called Pigskin's Haven. That's he called it that because of Haven of Ascension.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
so I thought that was very, very interesting because it is
that
on,
is
I believe,
Haven.
a nexus point or a ley line intersection. So they come and go and they navigate. The ones that use portals and such navigate that
Yes.
area. And
Yes.
as soon as you took out that statue, Pigskin became available to talk. So he's using that edifice on that side. And so I thought that was interesting. At the ends of the shows I do, or during the shows I do channel. So I was looking around. Yeah, your property there is actually like pristine. There's like no junk anywhere. It's like you could it's like squeaky clean in completely kind of like the energetic version of like a hospital where it's like all sterile is the energy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I kind of joked in the beginning that it was like a triage center, that it was dealing with a lot of processing and purging and clearing and just lots of, and it has gotten into more of that tranquil state, I would say, in the last year or so, because I purchased it, actually it was December 21st, 2021, which that was one of the alignments with all the stars and the things that happened. So it was intentionally signed on that day, where I became, I don't, I don't like the ownership part of it. I'm just the steward of it. And I've, uh, you know, I knew it was coming before it was here. And when it finally came, it was like, and I don't, and like I said, I just let it do what it's supposed to do. And I like the cleanliness of it, the aesthetics of it. When you feel it, it's just like you said, clean and pretty. I wanted as much natural, native plants as I could get here, and I actually introduced more every year because having butterflies here and birds here and just hummingbirds here and just all that's just the goodness of the world we live in. And it's like the more emphasis we put on the lightness of things, I think it's just better. And then, I do also have several pyramids within the facility. So,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, like orgone pieces.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. If you saw our property, I have it shielded, completely armed to the teeth, crystal grids, orgone pieces, statues, sigils, everything. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to have it that way doing this type of work. If you're not doing it that way, you're doing something wrong. So it's like, yeah, you got to do.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and also, we should probably get in the channel because the audience has increased here significantly. Or there are three distinct groups of people here. So, one, the forest people. Two, the Velodians of Paradisia. And two representatives of New Haven. So, the brief synopsis: Velodians are medically oriented. New Haven is military oriented, but out there, galactic. So, and farmer as well. So, that means obviously some guests of yours had some of them that they brought in for their healings and their channelings and whatnot. So it's 99% forest people, but it's like these two others are in there as well. So they'll probably want to say hello for a brief second. Hello, Pigskin. I would assume it's you talking. Yes. Okay, let me get a drink here. Yes, and I have a forest person mug here. So.
Love it.
Got that as a birthday gift one year with beef jerky in it, and I've had it ever since. So, all right. Yes, Isaac, I know I'm drinking out of a forest person's head. Thank you. All right, all right. He's the jokester of the whole group. So, all right, pigskin, where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay. Yeah, the other two will write their turn. Yes, I know. Ooh, you're in a hurry. All right. Yes, I'm known as Pigskin. Now, brief, as he says, synopsis. Let's just say my name involved uh, the skinning of pigs and theft thereof. I will not go completely into it. Let's just say some forest people taketh from one and giveth to another, sometimes themselves. But in this instance, it was both. That would mean hamstring and ham giving to them. Sometimes this happens because, well, it happens. Now, I will just say on your property, you are on a ley line intersection. It is a focal point for, it is all forest people mainly, but since there are people that come and go that also have, you would say, different guides. You call them spirit guides, but they're in just they're physical people in other frequencies. So they bring their own with them, but since they gave the true benevolence with no conflicting agendas declaration, and as you have also a similarly devised set of rules there on that property and intentions as well. It is very similar, and the two other groups are also benevolent as well, but they can wait their turn. I will wish to say that my cousins and I do come and go from there. We are so lovingly put by Isaac over here. We are lovingly called swamp people, but we don't actually refer to ourselves as such. But if people saw us, they would be slightly disgusted because we are filthy. But because we stay in the bacteria infested swamps, that we are immune to pretty much everything in there, except some chemicals if humans spilled things and whatnot. But humans would spend probably a couple of hours in one of these swamps that we go by and probably get dysentery. But in this, that's a joke, by the way. That doesn't happen. But humor, this is what needs to be focused on as well these days. Humor as well, and all types of laughter as well as healing, you see. And those coupled together very, very nicely. I know time-wise. So any questions for myself?
So just speak a little bit again about the energy centers and why that property is special? Why was she drawn to it when she reached a certain place to preserve it? And we use the word often, realize that I'm a caretaker. I'm just the caretaker to this area. Even though I bought it, I know there's something bigger here.
Yes, you were drawn to this place, or that place rather. This because my head is sitting on your table. Not severed, Isaac, no. It's actually sitting there, or edifice as they're called, or bust. And you were drawn to this place because you were drawn to the high energy of a ley line intersection point, vortex, and several portals that rotate around, almost like a crystalline, what's that, disco ball or chandelier kind of within it. And it spins, how can I put this? Yes, it ascends up into the sky in a clockwise manner, but then there is a spot in it that descends downward in a counterclockwise, which it grounds it as a pillar. It does both. This is actually a rarer one. The only other one that does something similar is on Chad Wagner's Spirit Lake. It actually has more of this diamond crest type of reflective pattern or mirror dimension type of thing, if you want to Doctor Strange it for a minute. But with yours, it goes up like this, and then has a section that goes down like this, and it's kind of like a barbershop's sign or pole or a little animatronic thing machine. Anyway, I don't know anything about that because I've never got a haircut. But I will say the property is very, very special. This is why you were drawn to it, because of its innate ability to not necessarily just maintain itself, but to amplify. It's very similar to Sedona. Sedona has two vortexes that are similar in nature that have an innie and an outie, let's just put it that way. And you have this large one that goes straight through almost the center of the property. It leans slightly to the west, a little bit of your front door, and further south slightly. And it's off where we come and go from. Since we cannot pop in and out of the house without scaring the crap out of people, it would have to be outside. Now, when you are drawn to a place and have an affinity for a place, that is what you want. Not being roped to a place, as he would say, because there's usually entities doing fishing. In this instance, it is an affinity, not just for ourselves, but for a property that has such a magnificent, crystalline-looking vortex. This is actually one of the more interesting ones I have ever seen the Earth produce. It's very similar to that cave that they found with all the crystals, the large crystals in it, but with a fractalized pattern that is very similar to almost like Superman's Fortress of Solitude. It has that, but in a spiral fashion. If you want to put it that way, or kind of like a kaleidoscope kind of appeal to it, but with more line like selenite or crystal structures. This is what yours looks like, and it is millions of years old. This is actually one of the older ones on the planet. This is what drew you in. I hope this answered.
Yeah, I think I want to explore one thing that you said, though, because this is, I think, an important conversation. Just like Sedona, when you have the energy pattern of being able to amplify where you are. So again, some people will come there because of where they are in their own energetics, and it will just amplify it, and people feel that this is wonderful. But believe it or not, in those types of environments, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you're not in that type of frequency and you're in a frequency that is, it's hard to say higher and lower, it's really faster or slower. But if you're in maybe a slower one, it could enhance that, and maybe you wouldn't feel so comfortable there. That's my understanding, but I was hoping maybe you could explain that a little bit more.
In this one, I would have to say the difference between Sedona and the Haven of Ascension property is this. Sedona has multiple large ones, not quite as large as this one. It has multiple ones, and also the difference with Spirit Lake, it has more of this crystalline mirror dimensional passage. Sedona has kind of a mix of two things going on. You have multiple vortexes that are fairly potent, and they have to spin one way, the dissension and ascension type thing in both directions, as Isaac put in innie and an outie. Now, which that's actually not very well descripted, but that's him. Anyway, Isaac, you can stay out of the conversation. Thank you. All right. He puts his mind in my mind like a Vulcan mind meld. But anyway, the difference is the solid singularity that's on your property, Cheryl, is one only. And this, actually, the way this is built, keeps a high vibration like you would think the Sedona ones were, but there it amplifies whatever mood someone is in. Now, this one does the same, but there is an added bonus. Not to mention we're there, but the added bonus is the base of it has an enhancement quality of it where there's a bit of filtration going on. A long time ago, some interesting galactics noticed that it was an extremely enhanced energy center and decided that they were going to put some devices in place to keep it interesting and not polluted. At the time, they were thinking more of fuel consumption to put their spaceships over it. But after a long time passed and the people didn't come back, we as people also noticed that it was slightly more cleansed, and then nature started to come in to keep it that way, even if that equipment disappeared, which is still there. It's just old. And it's about roughly, I'd have to say, 6,500 years old. It's starting to kind of croak, but the nature encroached around, and also people over time, as they came and went, noticed that it was a special type of energy, and they wanted to keep it that way. It was also the intentions that were planted. So, is it also higher or faster moving energy? Yes, and automatically cleanses like Sedona. But yes, there also is an enhancement quality there that would enhance the mood of someone too. But on another note, it would reject people that were in not necessarily just an ugly place, because someone can be in an ugly place and still be a good person. They might just have a bad day. Have some of that enhanced a bit for a little bit, and it would get pushed out of the way a little bit. No, it pushes away darkness, as in evil. So you will not have a single thing like that there. You might have the occasional ghost try to wander in there, but other than that, and also we're there, other than that, it is actually pretty clean. I hope this answers.
It does, because that's what Chris said. He couldn't see anything at all on the property, which now you're giving context to what he saw.
Mhm.
So thank you about that. Do you have any question at all that you want to ask?
Well, I just want to agree with what you had said, because I have received, confirmation or foresight prior. The cleanliness of it, like I said, is super important. The activation point you were saying, because it's similar in that, my own personal journey of understanding myself, and my fractalization of source that is now living on Earth in multiple dimensions. But I invested in knowing myself for a very long time, and the pairing of the stewardship of this place, the topography of it is very similar to me. So when I actually travel, there's a bridge that happens, and I've been told that I am supposed to go. I'm supposed to let it be here, and then as I travel, its energy travels with me, and it's able to reach people wherever I choose to go. It's almost like planting little seeds as I go and follow, the direction and path that I'm supposed to take during this lifetime. So,
Yes, you actually were completely meant to be in that spot. I hate to give a ranking to anybody, but in this instance, it's appropriate. You would say caretaker of a property like that. Chad is in a similar position for Spirit Lake. So this, you are in that particular position, keeping it cleansed, keeping yourself cleansed, and making a haven for those that wish to do the same.
Yeah.
And we fully support this, as do the others present. Yes.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. I am being shoved out of the way by the next person. So I excuse, these are beings that have also, and people that have been on your property as well for different events that you've had. And others have brought them through. Not that I'm complaining, but just know that that land is fully our own and they cannot live there. Okay. Just think. Yes. All right. I will step out of the way. Thank you. And always, meaning calm, always. I will be brief. My name is Shingon of the Belodians of Paradisia. My people are medical galactic, you would say. I had to tune in at this moment because of the fact that healings and activations are conducted there. And my people are looking for how can I put this without sounding creepy? A shoe-in to be able to help in these matters. The galactic contractual agreements and treaties do not allow us to physically show up, even in a powerful environment such as this, but we are allowed to speak in this way and conduct healings via those that are attuned to a very fast-moving frequency, such as a place like Haven of Ascension. So this is really what I wanted to say. We are completely dedicated to that healing, very much like your doctors are, and will assist in any way possible that we can. I don't know if you have questions for myself, but that's what I came to say.
You're the first person that actually came through that was vying for, hey, invite us, invite us. That's kind of a very interesting statement that you made, but also, again, validation of it is certainly much easier to be able to do things when you're in a higher frequency environment.
Yes.
And
yes,
so that's what you're actually alluding to. So it
yes, we do
sounds,
not want it to sound creepy. No.
no, it sounds, but I'm saying, wow, I'm impressed because you're the first person that actually, in all of our years of doing this is the first, to be able to say, hey, you got a great spot. Yes, we want to be the first to encourage everybody to go there and have conferences and conversations, because it also allows us a space to be able to participate in benevolent healings. I got to stress this. Benevolent healings, of people.
As you should always.
As we should always, which is again why we always do the law of one. We always make clear of the intention of what's going on. So this is a first. I think it's great. Again, another reason to promote, to try and get people, and again, in that mindset that you're looking for people who are wishing to be and have conferences in a higher vibrational place to be able to accomplish things. And again, and I find it interesting because we always say, when you go to places like this, be it a conference, be it a workshop, whatever is going on there, and you're in these higher vibrational places, as we as humans are trying to learn is, how do we maintain a frequency at that vibration and are able to take it back with us to where we are? Because in the physics sense, something vibrating at a higher frequency, things around it want to naturally join it. So
Right.
I think it was interesting what you said before, because again, I guess I'd say from my perspective, you can please give your perspective, that what is actually saying is that you're kind of embellished in that higher vibrational frequency. So you just leaving it and going somewhere else takes that frequency with you.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're in it all the time, it means you're able to maintain that frequency vibration better than some people and go out. And so again, exposing people to a bit of a higher vibrational frequency by your presence, if that makes sense. But I would like for you to comment on what I was just saying and how that would even be helpful for people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, people that hold the space like you do, Cheryl, will make sure the space maintains as well, even though Pigskin said about the cleanliness of the space naturally and also augmented. And no, we didn't do that. That was someone else. The fact that you hold the space matters a lot, matters a great deal. This opens the door to only, you would say, true benevolence with no conflicting agendas. You see, any lower extreme vibrational types would not even be able to utter those words in this respect. Even though I am very scientifically oriented, we hold the space for corners of the galaxy, very much like you have a hospital that holds a space on a corner. You have a healing center holds a space in an area. You have Haven of Ascension that holds the space for that vortex and holds the space for those that need it and require it. This is what I came to say. Cheryl, do you have questions for myself?
Not anything specific. I would completely agree that the galactic help of healing the frequencies, the energies coming in and out of this place, and not only the physical 3D realities that come through. The more help we can get, the better.
I thank you for this. I now pass it over to the last guest, who is anxious to push their way in, even though they're talking to you this weekend. Okay, they were anxious to do it this way. So, I will move aside. Thank you. Excuse interference. We are arcing our communications through a temporal aperture connected to the Pleiadian star cluster. We are representatives of New Haven Sanctuary for all wayward travelers and former abductees. We wish to show that facilities and places on the earth like this are needed, where you are holding the space for a multitude of different people and beings. Excuse, we have an ornate amount of interference with our communications. My designation is M31. I must go by a number designation because of the amount of interference that our colony receives. This, if you saw us, we would essentially be human looking. The same with the Velodians. We aren't covered in bacteria like the first gift, but anyway, like a sloth. No. I kid because they're actually great people. Again, holding the space, making a sanctuary for those that need it, that are in the utmost, most benevolent vibrations, true benevolence with no conflicting agendas. You also keep the circle small. You would say tighter circle, deeper roots. You keep it small because that is what you know you can handle. This is something that also got our attention on any of our vessels. We tend to have a smaller crew, but we also not necessarily pick and choose those that show up. They tend to choose us, and those that we tend to rescue. We tend to be more not necessarily paramedic or EMT types like the Velodians, or soldiers like the Mozen soldiers out there. No, of Cassiopeia. No. We are more like a mix kind of the two. You would say some cop variations, and there's some rescued people variation, some paramedic variation, very much like on Earth. You would find a community very much like your Starfleet headquarters or Star Trek headquarters in that lore. We're very similar. So, questions for myself while I have the conduit?
The only thing I wanted to bring forth is what we have ourselves found out recently about the importance of finding these particular places and where they are, because think tank groups that are trying to develop more benevolent things, these are kind of the areas that people will get their best inspiration and, be able to be in an environment, whether they realize it or not, having galactic support there to kind of work on things that are more of a higher vibrational, let's say, gift to humanity through humans, through the gift of inspirational when they're in a higher vibrational area. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
what we have been being shown, being taken to, and different things are some of these spots. Now I'm sure they're around the world. We just happen to be in the United States. And so, one of those things that I would just want to say out loud to people is that if you really are going to work on a project, if you really want something of a higher vibration, being in a place that already vibrates that high will significantly contribute to your project when you're working on them, trying to find inspiration for them. It's something, again, that we've found out ourselves. But another reason in general why, I think more people are going to start to become inspired to do certain things, and working with people, doing these things in a place like yours, they will probably be amazed at how more quickly it can come into fruition if certain workshops and different things were done in these places. So
Yes.
another reason why that I feel, again, that we really, really, and personally, we hope that we can develop and participate in things at your facility as well. Dreaming big, again, going to the end and seeing it happen, and then not put as much detail into the steps to make it happen, but what does it look like? What does it feel like? What are you accomplishing? How are people are doing to dream in this, what we are so supportive of happening at your place because of how special it is. I know I was long-winded, but I thought maybe if you had anything to contribute to that as well.
Yes, places like this are absolutely needed upon the earth. Uh, Places that can connect to the different good and benevolent aspects of both Earth society and galactic society and interversal society. That's the dimensional spaces in between spaces, or the world within worlds. Most of the activity you get is from there. I suppose the forest people qualify as well as also qualify as a galactic race, depending on the tribe you talk to, as well because their ancestry is from space. But the thing of it is, this colony's ancestry actually falls to Earth. We are a colony from a colony. So, do any of you wish to speak further on this? I know I wanted to take the time to say that you, Cheryl, are doing magnificent work there because that environment would definitely suit the true benevolence of the galactic society. And since you have such a large forest people contingent there, I highly doubt they are going to let anything through. It's just like Spirit Lake. They are more or less, they may seem calm or in their analem, but they go into Hulk smash mode fairly quickly if something tries to intrude. You are doing good. It's the as above, so below type of thing where you do the due diligence and they can handle the rest of it. So, questions for myself?
Oh, I just want show appreciation for everybody of pure intention, benevolent nature of hey, we're doing good things here, and I hope it continues. And The space is here. It's beautiful. Keep adding our plants and gardens and promote healthy things that people can introduce in their day-to-day life.
Mm,
Also, we are highly, you said like the medically and the kind of more security-based principles that we have here. Because when people are going through their trauma, work or their shadow work or, whatever labels, the whole goal is awakening, ascending and becoming our best versions of ourselves.
mm.
I'm a firm believer, the more simple we keep it, the better.
Yes, I fully agree with this. And there is also one group you did not mention that had benevolence. There are artificial intelligence groups out there that with different designations, like your Commander Data would be on Star Trek, believe it or not. The designation of M31, I greet you as a greeter from that particular colony. They designate my stature as that of a communicator and also a commander, captain, whatever you want to say. So there is that, there's true benevolence in that area as well. Believe it or not, people have been geared to hate this and see it as propaganda, but you ground such a powerful energy there. You have beings from all over the quadrant looking very well at that place. So this is a pat on the back. I must close the conduit currently. I will close it for the others since they left the door open. They're like the child that leaves the refrigerator door open and does not close it, and all the food rots. So,
Yeah.
so I will then take my leave. I am M31, and I am now closing this conduit. I greet you in the vibrational tone thereof of the colony of New Haven in the Pleiades. You would also call it Kepler 22b. It does not matter that you know the name of it. If you went there, you would not see it in the same vibrational constant. So I will now, and now closing conduit. Thank you and goodbye. There we are.
That was interesting that so many different groups wanted to come through for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't normally happen like this.
Normally doesn't do. I normally don't do a three for like that's usually one being, and then that's it. So
I
yeah.
think there was again so many different layers of importance to where you are, obviously, as to why these different ones wanted to come through in support of. But again, I think the biggest thing that I heard being pointed out is the energy itself doesn't allow for negative entities to be there. So it actually is extremely special in that way, because other places there can be that still something trying to come through, something trying to interfere. What was really said is that where you are at is a very special place where it just doesn't occur because the energies are so strong there that it's really just a suicide mission, let's say, if anything tries to do it. So pat, again, pat yourself on the back that you are being blessed with being the caretaker of an extra special spot from what I've heard. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The energies are interesting. I can feel it through the screen here. So yeah, that's very good. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go right ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, I mean the space is wonderful, and then and even my childhood and my experience of really coming face to face with some of the most terrifying, horrific, scary things, not only in the physical but in the spiritual realms. And I've always had a sense of of faith, of there's goodness even in the darkness, even in the space of nothingness, a sense of, hey, nobody understands me. Hey, there's nobody out there like me, or is everybody dealing with some of this stuff as a child? And my take on it is yeah, everybody's dealing with it. It's just being able to get to the point of having faith in yourself, having faith in the goodness of God and the creator of everything that we experience in this multitude of massive expansion. We can't even compute it, where we are right now. And then it's keeping it simple, keeping things wholesome, and being good to one another, and saying, hey, that experience you had, well, I had something very similar, but there's hope, and there's faith, and there's we're all in it together. And I will, as you were talking about just the energies and the different beings, we did have a visitor one time, and she said the way it feels here, it's almost like a galactic, what are the ones that usher in the planes? What are they called? Like the flight,
That's right, air traffic control.
yeah, who's coming in at one time? Because she said the amount that's coming through, like, it has to be orderly.
Right.
It has to be conducted in a way of natural progression, and like you said, the vibration of the energy sources. It just has a natural flow that has to be done properly. That's where it goes back to being simple.
Right.
Keep it simple.
So it's very interesting because we literally were just particularly at a very particular place in Sedona where we actually had seen that ourselves, that it felt like, and I told the people that I wouldn't be surprised that maybe some of your guests actually weren't from this world. But again, it's this place that's neutral, that allows for beings to come through, to come in, to be in, on earth in a certain frequency. And I think more and more, let's just say also, if people wanted to go someplace to meditate, to try and even make communication or whatever, it would, in benevolence, a facility like yours, a place like yours, the grounds like yours would be more conducive to it.
Yeah, we encourage, people here locally, like when we're open, we tell them, come, walk the grounds, sit on our swing, bring your lunch when you're in the hustle bustle of everyday work. Like, come sit here for an hour, and then drive, 10 minutes to your job. And it's just come on, you don't have to, if you want to bring your child and walk around. But we do have the factor of, you have to be ready to come. Like, if you're not in a space of receiving, I guess, because if you're not willing, you're just, you're gonna get a flat tire. You ain't coming in the door. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter, and we've seen it numerous times. And then when you get here, you're given that benevolent factor of, hey, it's your choice. If you want to, elevate yourself, then by all means. If there's something you need to go down to the depths and deal with of whatever, then that's what you deal with. But there are people here, there are facilitators that stay here that are trained to help you with some of that. But you have to be ready, So, and that's what I encourage people. Your healing journey, your higher consciousness journey, ascension journey, it's all labels really to the same thing. We're trying to get to a more elevated state of being, that is closer connected to source energy.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, thank you. So tell people again how to reach you.
Yeah, well, it's Haven of Ascension. You can check out our website. We are actually in Ascension Parish in Louisiana. So Louisiana is the only state that has parishes, so that we don't have counties, we have parish, and it is actually called Ascension Parish. So,
that's very, very cool.
Very interesting, yes. Yeah. So you can go on our website, go on our Facebook, call us, come visit. We have people that just drop in. We have a place where you can, book a tour, call and talk to us.
So again, Chris has put up on share screen your website, havenofascension.com. Again, and
Yeah.
people can look through that and look at it, think about it. If you want to put anything together, Chris and I have a goal of being able to do some things out there as well. Would
Yeah.
love to make it something on a regular basis if we can get that going.
Yeah, this would be.
Because again, we really do believe the importance of the energies when you're trying to have get-togethers. And we actually like the small get-togethers as well, you know,
Right.
a bit more intimate. So
Mhm.
We do have people that come in and they stay in the rooms here, and it's just a couple, and they come for a couple days and just enjoy something a little bit different, and enjoy the grounds. So it could be a one person come stay to up to about 50 to come and have a intimate workshop.
well,
My
that's
baby.
great.
That's great. Yeah. So, okay, that's, I think this is a good place to take
Well,
the shot unless you have something
we
else.
ended here. But we're thrilled to have this conversation. We were surprised with the guests who wanted to speak. That was brilliant and nice. And, obviously, we'll be keeping you in mind and seeing what we can do as well to.
It was a pleasure
share.
meeting you. Come see
You too.
Mama ever came back.
Aw. Oh, you're
So
cute. You're so cute.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure. I appreciate everything and everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, yeah, I'll close this out now. Now, thank you everybody for watching this episode of The Lifting. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I now close this circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So thank you everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye.